DragonCon, Crispy here. We've gone virtual, and we've brought back an old friend, Chris. Thanks for joining us from Vancouver.
All the way from Vancouver, BC.
It's wow.
I gotta say, I friggin' love that intro.
Thank you.
It's incredible.
Well,
kudos.
Yeah, we tend to double down on the geek, right? Like, it's like, oh, you want to go 80s? We'll go 80s.
We will show you 80s.
Yes. So Hawaiian shirts. Thank you for dressing up today.
Yeah, I wanted to look the part.
That's right. Join us at the
and it's my homage to you, and this is my homage to my team that's playing tonight. I don't know when this is going to be showing, but my Canucks are playing tonight.
What's your chant for the Nucks?
It's just go Nucks go.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not that imaginative, but it gets straight to the heart of the matter.
Which that's the way hockey should be. Like I'm here in Atlanta. We have Atlanta United games, but I'm also from Nashville, so we've got the Nashville Predators and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the crowds are very similar, but man, like I remember my first United game, I was so intimidated by all the chants and stuff like that. And then I go to a Nashville game, and it's like, no, just beat them up. Game,
It's like the ultimate cosplay. I think when you don the jersey. There are those who feel like they are the players.
That is true. And
it can get a little deadly.
It's a little intense. I ended up at a Stanley Cup game when Nashville went by.
Oh, you told me. Yeah.
It was exactly that. Like I donned my suit of armor. I went in and I was like, oh, I'm in like a complete mind shift. You're like, all right, this is my persona now.
Yeah. And you feel tough.
Oh my God, so powerful.
Like, do I look tough with my Lions and my Canucks?
I mean, I think you should pitch this to the Nucks as a third.
It'll be their new third jersey.
That's right.
Yeah.
The away jersey.
Yeah.
The far away from us jersey.
Exactly. The never here jersey.
Ever. Man, well, I just wanted to kind of circle back around because the last time I think you were here was 2008. There's only like one or two times that you think you've been here.
Yeah.
And you were one of the first people I actually interviewed before I started doing this professionally, right? Making it
Yeah.
So I personally thank you for helping me kind of get this started. I don't think the audience knows how much I owe these conversations to you. I don't think you know that
thank you, man. Thank you very much. Well, I gotta say, like, you also thank you because you made me feel welcome. DragonCon can be an overwhelming place for those without anxiety. And I have small amounts of anxiety. So for me, having you there was a blessing. So thank you, Crispy.
Thank you, Chris. And that's it. That's all I need.
That's it. Mutual Admiration Society. We're out.
Nice.
DragonCon.
Man. Well, you were there, and I can attest to some of the karaoke and just frivolity that we shared in when you were there. But like, you've been doing conventions since, right? Like,
yeah, I mean,
not as heavy as others, but you'll get out there.
Yeah, no, for a while there, I was on the Once Upon a Time circuit. So basically, we would do anywhere from like over the past maybe 4 years, we've been doing basically 7 a year, and then it slowly went down to 5, and then last year I think we just did 2. We did a reunion con as well. Yeah. I love it, but I love it because my primary function at these things, being not necessarily one of the main story driving characters, which I'm totally fine with. That's not like a self-deprecating type thing, is to be amongst people and to hang out with people, much like at DragonCon, as you know, to just like chill and also, have a drink or two. So that's my function at these cons, and I love it. Like, I'm with people and like exchanging stories and having a drink, and so I love it.
It's just love it. Catching up with old friends, even if you've met them for the first time.
Yeah, and a lot of the people, I mean, you kind of go, oh, you're blah 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 handle, right? And so it's like putting a face to the name. It's actually like I adore it. I adore it. I really do.
That's an important aspect of the convention. And I think that's like that particular aspect is one thing that we're really going to be missing this year.
Yeah.
With the pandemic and stuff like that. Because, like we're doing a Discord, but that only scratches the itch so much.
Yeah.
There is something to be said for having that shared space. And I can't wait to have you back down here or just run into
I know.
like the hugs that the world are collectively going to have.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like, I think, people are sort of used to it with their own. You're having to isolate from friends and things right
Yeah.
now too, so it's not that much of an extension. And if we can get on here and do something like this, then
Yeah.
that's as close as we're getting anyway to at least acquaintances. Maybe not
Yeah.
close friends. You can have a bubble, but
Get
yeah.
your corn pod.
Definitely, yeah, definitely interesting times. And I just
Yeah.
want to address me having my hand up here
I
like
was about to
this.
call it out, but I wanted to see if you got to it first.
Yeah, well, thank you. You're a very gracious man. It's because we were doing a test, and the audio test revealed that this happened. Is it doing it?
That's fresh beard right there.
That's fresh beard.
That's fresh beard. That's good quarantine beard,
that.
though.
That's good quarantine beard.
Yeah.
And quarantine hair. I haven't had my hair this long since Eureka season 1.
I'd say the early days.
Early days.
As a hockey fan, are you kind of excited to have a mullet?
It's not actually a mullet. I won't
know,
take the head off. It's long all around, but
Yeah.
I'm thinning considerably on top, so I
Mhm.
won't take my head off. But it is long all the way around.
Right. That's
Yeah.
what
But
happens.
it does play like a mullet, doesn't it?
That's right.
Go nuts, go right on.
It's the whole man. The Hawaiian shirt really adds to all this. Let's be real.
I'm kind of regretting it now under this light, and just like it's kind of hot in here. It
That's
is
fair.
Vancouver, but it is warm.
Yeah. I think that's something that you and I talked about that once. Like, I remember the first time that you told me that. I was like, "Oh, you're from Canada, right? It's cold up there." We were doing a convention in Chattanooga, and you guys, I forget who was with you. I forget his name.
Chad.
It was Chad. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like 70 degrees. And
Oh,
you guys
Sean Rogerson was with me.
Oh, it was okay. Sorry, Sean. I apologize. Yeah. And you guys
who
were
was
like,
he worked with me on Harper's Island.
Harper. That's right. Right.
Yeah.
It's been a couple years. I apologize.
No worries.
My takeaway from that was like you two complaining, rightfully so, that like, oh, it's 70 degrees, it's cold. Now it's January-ish, Chattanooga.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, aren't you guys from Canada? Come on. So there's definitely that misconception of Canada might not be that anymore.
There definitely is, but I just want to send out a disclaimer to people that once you cross the border, it does not drop 20 degrees.
No.
It doesn't drop at all.
Really. At all. In fact, it's warmer there. So
can be.
Suffer with me with the shirt is the point.
Yes.
DragonCon, we're suffering together. Oh man.
Dude, the first time I went to DragonCon though, I have not felt that kind of heat. Like DragonCon is normally early September.
Yeah.
I have not felt anything as muggy as stepping into the Atlanta airport.
Oh God.
Dude, how do you do it?
I try not to. You get the tarmac, and then pre-pandemic, you had all the people there.
Yes, exactly.
In a word, like every time I fly, I describe the experience as sticky. Honestly, I'm a larger guy. I'm hairy. I'm just like, this is so uncomfortable. Me too. And then with my anxiety, I'm like, this is even more uncomfortable.
Yeah. So you're actually getting hotter in trying to avoid people. So it's that added stress, and it's stress sweat, and it's worse than just regular sweat.
It is the worst.
It is terrible,
man. Well, what does it? I mean, besides hockey, let's talk about what isn't stressful. I want to know something. We haven't had the chance. What's your geeky aspects? Like, let's say you're at a convention, you're not working, you're having the time of your life, and you actually were participating in the convention. Where are we gonna find you? What's your geekdom?
I mean, I love toys. I had a collection of like figurines and stuff, like McFarlane-esque type toys, and whatever catches my eye. I actually have an original Toxic Avenger. I don't know where it is right now. Some trauma. So I have 3 of those, which I bought and kept boxed maybe 16, 17 years ago, and managed to keep my kids from ripping open the packages. I have like old board games. I have like Simpsons Clue.
Yeah, I've got it over there too.
Have you got it?
Was it Smithers as Mrs. White?
I haven't even opened it. Again, it's like I just love collecting. I collect skateboards also. I'm like massive. When I was growing up, I didn't grow up with a great amount of wealth, and so I always got hand-me-down skateboards from my buddy Mark. Never could I conceive of putting together a complete skateboard. And then when I got into acting and started making a little bit of money, I had other priorities at the time, and like now getting older, I have a collection outside of the bedroom of about, I want to say, 10 complete skateboards.
Ooh. That's a lot of
which is not that much for somebody who's a collector, and then I also have another 10 decks.
Right.
So it's like 20 skateboards. So that's my thing now. So the toys and I just love little figurines. I had like my Ronald Resnick character. I got gifted a Ronald Resnick pop toy that somebody custom made, which is really cool. And it's got me doing the laser eyes things. For any Supernatural fans, it's like, look at him, he's got the laser eyes. It's me doing that part. So it's really cool. I love stuff like that. I love minutia, and I love just creative. Like your space right now is like is it's making me salivate a little bit.
I inside when I'm doing my panels, I'll show you afterward. It's a wall of board games, and then I've got a whole other room full of Funko Pops.
That's awesome.
You would have a field day in this house. You know, it's one of those things where, like growing up, super poor, homeless, things like that. And when you finally have some stability, you're just like, I'm going to collect things. Now, behind this camera is a board game wall of about 300 board games. Wow. So maybe there is a line of, okay, am I hoarding? Like, I don't mean that negatively. I'm like, where's the line? Like, and now, like, it's been personally a struggle is like with the pandemic. I have board game nights once a month, invite people over, cook for them, and we play board games, team board games. And like, I haven't been able to do that. My roommates will play every now and then. But yeah, it's fascinating to see, like, from a collector standpoint, we collect all these things, and I mean, really, what do we do with them? You know, do you here's the ultimate question: Funko Pops, stay in the box or take out of the box?
For me, stay in the box.
Okay.
For my son Ben. So when I would go to conventions, I would get both my son Ben and Sebastian a Funko Pop. Yeah. My youngest is an in the box, or is an out of the box, and my older one is a keep in the box, like me. That's just me. But with skateboards, it's the adverse effect. Sorry, I'm just reading a note. Oh,
no, we've got
notes. I like to put my skateboards together, and I like to ride them. So
you actually,
even if it's just once, even if it's just for a cruise or whatever. Yeah,
I'm kind of the same way. Like I look at board games as art as well. You know, with the decks and things like that.
Yeah,
if I buy a board game, I have to play it once. And some of these board games, I maybe have only played once, but I buy it because of the art, the excitement behind it. So yeah, I mean, I mean, with games, you kind of want to, but there's certain games. Like I also have a Jar Jar Binks game. Oh.
So I imagine, like, you know, the whole Jar Jar backlash, which is rather unfortunate.
It is.
Very unfortunate because, like, great guy and, you know, great opportunity to be, you know, slammed like that. So I figured with how unpopular, I'm afraid to say, the character was, having that game now is maybe a little bit of an asset, maybe something to keep.
Yeah, the world of collecting is you never know where the value is going to be.
Exactly, right? Exactly. In its rarity and its popularity, I mean, mostly it's its rarity, and I was hoping that one would become very rare. And then I went on eBay, and it was like, $30. I'm like, oh, great.
All right, whatever.
Okay.
Did you have that one piece that got away? Like you didn't know what you had, and you let it go?
I mean, probably there was things like that's part of the reason that I don't unbox too, is because I had done stuff like that, like definitely with hockey cards.
Yeah.
So I was never a fan when I was a kid. It wasn't until I broke my ankle. I was doing a play. I was doing Romeo and Juliet.
Okay.
And then I had to take a day out of rehearsal to go and shoot this thing. I was a very young actor at the time. And I did the shoot and I ended up breaking my ankle. I couldn't do the play. I couldn't do any of that stuff. And that's what got me into hockey.
Okay.
So because I was laid up with a broken ankle, I had nothing to do but watch this thing. And it was like a soap opera for me, watching the Canucks, who at the time were just terrible. And so I fell in love with hockey. But when I was a kid, I would get gifted cards. I mean, it was just like, I think it was just like the right of any Canadian. You just get hockey cards. Not at all. But I did end up getting these cards, and we would play these games with them. There's like Topsies. There's a game called Corners. So you like flick the cards. You've seen card flicking before.
Yeah, of course.
So you would like set cards up on the wall. There was Noxies. So you would knock them down. You would flick a hockey card at the wall. But some of these cards now, and this is what I'm getting to, some of these cards now are worth like thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars. So like all of these dudes, like this was around when Wayne Gretzky was young and a rookie, and if that name means nothing to you, that's sort of the figurehead of hockeydom, the greatest, they call him. So things like that. So that was kind of a lesson to me, and having all that stuff.
Yeah.
And not that it's monetary either. For me, it's just like I love the art of it. I did have them some skateboards hanging up on my wall. I love the art, and I love the aesthetic and the feel of it. So it's not saving things just for money. It's just to have them,
Yeah,
and to fill that space that I didn't have as a kid.
The emotional connection is real.
Yeah.
There are definitely things in my collection that I've got just because they remind me of my father who has passed away, or something, some kind of emotional connection. Is like, yeah, I mean that product's only okay, but oh man, the memories associated with it, that's my touchstone,
Yeah. It's definitely more sentimental.
It's wild. And like nostalgia being so profitable in this day and age, like collectibles, I think, are less and less for the money, because we're seeing just at least pre-pandemic, just a huge influx of figures and collectibles like across the board, right? Nothing really seems to be like in the geek realm necessarily, like the true collectible. They're out there, but the entry goal to get into it doesn't seem as casual as it used to be.
No, and there's obviously a flooding of the market. If something's cool, it's going to be like, or if it's contrivedly collectible, then it's like it kind of loses its panache there too. So I don't know. So that's why skateboards and stuff like that for me is so cool, because it's not trying to be a collectible, and there is like a collector's market for it and a collector's passion, but it's not outrightly so. It's like traditionally how things would have been for collecting. You would just love something and collect it.
I get it.
Yeah. So that's one of my nerdy passions, and I'm getting into cooking now too. I like so like funny, after all these years of being on Eureka, when I was like let's just order in to now suddenly be bitten by the bug. And the writers of the show, like, they wrote such cool and interesting things that were legit meal items that I could have like taken the time to get into, you know what I mean? But it was more about the character and the nurturing for me at that time. And certainly laziness played a massive role in me not wanting
to set. You don't want to go home and cook.
Exactly. 12 hours a day, 13,
4 hours
15. Yeah, exactly. And these were like, great dishes. So they did an amazing job at inspiring me. It just happened to fall maybe 10 years later.
I mean,
after I'm done.
Right place, right time.
Yeah.
Like I love cooking, but the time investment is a lot. And there's a little bit more free time now than we typically are used to having.
Sure.
So great time to learn new things. What is the most recent dish that you've made that you're just like, I cannot wait to make that again?
It's this French onion soup.
Oh man, I love it.
But it's made with all these different onions. There's this Canadian chef who does it, and he's amazing. He's very, very rude. He kind of reminds me of he's like a really blue Jack Black. This guy, like kind of nasty, but it's very like, it's not nasty for nasty's sake.
Kind of like Jack Black and Gordon Ramsay. Kind of like in the between there.
Yeah, maybe that. But he's like, and he's kind of like, it's very unpretentious. But his dishes are amazing. So like, I love stuff like that. I love stuff like that. I'd like to get into sous vide.
Oh yeah,
have you done that?
No, that's like the one kitchen gadget like I dream for.
Yeah,
doing a good sous vide. I joined the cult of the Instant Pot a couple years ago.
Oh, nice.
Air fryer. I like I'm a nerd. So, and I love to cook, but again, the time investment. So having all these gadgets in the kitchen's really exciting to me. And it's gotten me, even before the pandemic, to be excited to be in the kitchen again.
Yeah.
It's such a fun, creative space, And
and for me too, growing up, I grew up meat and potatoes. Like I'm a British, I was born in England, moved to Canada when I was 5, and even here it was like meat and potatoes. That's how I grew up. And I didn't like fish. Like, I mean, I'm talking across the board. I did not like fish, which is fine, but I just didn't give it a shot again ever, And so recently we've been going out, and I've just been saying yes to everything, or like, what's your best dish? Like if we go to a restaurant. And I love it. I'm loving this world, and I get to experience all this stuff for the first time, and it's like, it's amazing right now.
You only do it once.
Yeah, I haven't been able to the past 5 months, but or 4 months or whatever it is. But it's making my mouth water. I want to get back.
I'm getting hungry, so we're gonna wrap this up before I eat I actually have meatloaf and potatoes in the fridge for leftovers.
Meat and potatoes.
It was that night,
which is always good too.
Oh, Instant Pot makes a beautiful meatloaf, but I digress.
Oh, dude.
So we're gonna get a random question here from our buddy Randall. Do you have a color preference? We've got some yellows, greens, pinks, and oranges.
Let's go pink.
Let's go pink. All right. This is the exciting part on camera where we draw something out of a jar. Look out, everyone.
Yay.
This makes for great television.
You are great television.
All right. So Kismet. We're all familiar with the term Kismet. Like, universe just provides.
Yeah.
This card says, describe your perfect sandwich.
Oh my gosh.
So closes out with a sandwich that's gonna make me so much more hungry.
Okay, but with this talk of all this sort of like pretentious, sous vide stuff and things like that, it's gonna be a BLT, and it's gonna be a BLT from the hotel in the town that I grew up in called Armstrong, British Columbia. They made the best BLT with cheese, BLT with C, crispy bacon,
of course,
luscious thick cheddar.
Keep talking.
Beautiful tomato, salted a little bit with some lettuce on there, some mayo, and then the fries and gravy. I don't know if that's a thing where you are. Fries and gravy is a massive thing.
Gravy, yeah. Oh man, that sounds.
Or a side of poutine too. Now I'm really digressing.
Yeah. Like, there's only one place to get curds here in Atlanta, and now I'm gonna have to go make that happen this week.
Do that. Do that.
I love poutine, and that's BLT, man. That's where it's at. Anywhere I go to a restaurant. Give me that lettuce, tomato, and bacon.
Yeah,
there
man.
could be other stuff on it, but like those staples for me.
Yeah. It hits every element.
You get the texture, the
acid
flavor,
from the tomato, like the savoriness from the bacon and the cheese. Oh my god!
I'm gonna eat this camera now. Well, on that note, DragonCon, I hope you're as hungry as we are. We're gonna go get dinner. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your con. Chris, thanks for
having me, man.
And I can't wait to be in the same room with you again. And we're gonna nosh on some BLTs, my friend,
and have some beer.
That's right, you got it. All right, thank you, DragonCon.
Thank you, DragonCon.